What's up, YouTube? I know you're glad that card's been reprinted finally. This is Crane Control, new deck I built. This budget deck, trying to provide some competitive alternatives to some of the high-end cards. So, this is going to be a budget build. I'm not saying that this will absolutely compete with all the decks out there. What I am saying is that if you just dedicate a few dollars, maybe up to 80 bucks, because as in any hobby, you have to put some money in. When you play your video games, you have to make the initial investment in the PS3 or the Xbox, maybe get some games, get an extra controller so your buddy can play or what have you. You're putting in that initial money. So, you put those initial dollars in, and you can start playing, semi-competitively. And then as time goes on, say a little bit, and start picking up high-end cards here and there one at a time. And these videos are going to help you. I'm going to present a couple of different videos of decks, and hopefully you can find one that kind of fits your play style there that you kind of like. And as you acquire higher end cards, you can add them to the deck and increase their competitiveness, their playability, and eventually you can work your way up to one of the quote-unquote top tier decks. So let's start here. Crane Control, we have Gores, Dark Arm Dragon, 2 Chaos Sorcerer, 2 Summoner Monk, 3 Sacred Crane, 2 TG Warwolf, TG Jet Falcon, Rush Rhino, TG Striker, Sangin, Gale, 2 Effect Veiler, Mystic Tomato, Goldfax, 2 Pot of Duality, Lure of Darkness, Creature Swap, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Mind Control, Monster Reborn, Book of Moon, 2 Swallow's Nest, 3 Icarus Attack, 2 Call of the Hunted, Torrential, and Trap Death Shoot. Alright, so one of the first things you notice about notice about the deck is that the most expensive card in the deck is Effect Veiler. It's about 15 bucks for the rare. I wouldn't pay more than $8 for a Super Pot of Duality, and reason being, you can go spend the 20 bucks and pick up one duality, then pick up another one for another 20 bucks. So spend 40 bucks, pick up 2 dualities, or you can buy it off somebody who's willing to part with one. And like I said, I wouldn't expect to pay more than $8. If you can find one cheaper, that's awesome. Hopefully around the $5 range. But just know that the best way to get it right now is by buying the 10. And if you don't want to buy the 10 just to get one card, then expect to pay, a small premium for the card. So right here we have 30 and 16. That's 46 bucks. Dark Arm Dragons is super rare now. I wouldn't pay more than $3 for that, so that's $49. And then the rest of the deck is pretty much shitty. I mean, Swallow's Nest are about $1 a piece. They're super rare. These are all common. Mind Control is a common. Those are all commons and rares. Although I will admit that the TG rares aren't as high as they used to be, but they are still a little inflated. You're probably looking at $3 a piece for the TG rares, but the TG commons are less than $1 a piece. Okay, so let's talk about the deck a little bit. We got the obvious OTK stopper. I mean, a lot of times if you drop Gores at the right time, that can end the game for your opponent. We're running quite a bit of darks, so we have the Dark Arm Dragon. It does what it does. If you would like to spend the extra money, or if you already possess a Blackluster Soldier, replace one of the Chaos Sorcerers with a Blackluster Soldier, and that'd be a really good fit. 2 Summoner Monk. He tutors out your 3 Sacred Cranes to draw a card, replace the spell you ditch. He can also tutor Goldfax, which is a light, and that's why we're running it. And you can Synchro Summon. We have the small TG engine just to help speed up the deck. The main TGs we're running are the Warwolves. We're running 2 of those because it's dark, it's allurable, it feeds Dark Arm and Chaos Sorcerer. Helps fulfill their summoning conditions, so that's why he's in there. And then when he is destroyed, he allows us to fetch one of these 3 guys. I didn't run too many of these guys because we want to keep our dark and light ratios pretty high. You can adjust them if it fits your play style, but I wanted to capitalize on Icarus attack and Swallow's Nest, and so that is the reason why we're running the TG Jet Falcon. He's a level 3 tuner. His effect is kind of meh. I mean, if you use him as a synchro material, you burn your opponent for 500. I mean, that may or may not be wonderful, but you know, it's add a little bonus. But the primary thing is that he's a searchable winged beast by Warwolf, Rush Rhino, and Striker, and that's why he's in there, without a doubt. If you would like to replace him with a DD Crow, I mean, that's perfectly acceptable. I just like him because I can search him through Sangan. If I have Gale on the field and a Veiler, I can Swallow's Nest or whatever. If I search Warwolf, I use Warwolf to search Falcon, summon Falcon, Swallow's Nest, get Gale half, you know, just the combos. This is the reason why he's in there. He's a wing beast. He's level 3. Give something that I can Swallow's Nest for Gale, and he has multiple ways to be searched. He doesn't have the Dark Soul type searching and the end phase effect that the other TGs have, but that's okay. Again, he's a wing beast, and so that's one more time why he's in there. Effect Veiler, negating monster effects are just too important. You guys all know that. Mystic Tomato, tutors are Summoner Monk, our Warwolf, Sangan, and Gale, so he's pretty important. We're running quite a few darks, that's why Allure. The thing about Pot of Duality, we are capable of performing quite a few special summons, but in the times when we can't, when we just need to set up, Duality's there. We can always pitch it for Summoner Monk when we don't need it. Same with Allure. If we don't have anything that you want to get rid of, you can pitch it. Or again, if you have cards that are dead, like you have a dead Dark Arm or dead Sorcerer or whatever, just allure it away. Creature Swap. We're running Creature Swap and not the TG1M1 because we don't have enough targets, and that would just be too sacky to throw that card in there. As amazing as it is, I mean, it's probably one of the best traps out there next to Icarus Attack, or best legal traps, I should say, next to Icarus Attack and Trap Death Shoot in terms of disruption. But it just wouldn't make sense to run it. So we're running Creature Swap instead. That way we can swap them one of our TGs, swap them our Sangan. If they Veiler our Monk, we can give them that shit. Obviously swap them to Mystic Tomato, and just do combos from there. Mind Control. We're running, let's see, 3 tuners, plus we have the Exceed mechanic now, so we can exceed with things that we take. We have quite a few level 4s. We can make Utopia, Zen Master, Roach if you can afford it. We can make Levair or Grinosaurus, or I'm sorry, Leviathan or Grinosaurus, or Levair if you can afford it, and that's why it's in there. Book of Moon standard disruption card. Swallow's Nest is so hot to have your Sacred Crane out there. They bottoms whatever, you Swallow's Nest, get another one out. It's kind of cool. Of course, Icarus Attack. Call the Haunted works to activate your Sacred Crane. It will activate if it's MST'd and you revive a Warwolf or Rush Rhino TG, get a strike or striker, and you get a search. Plus, if you revive Sangan, you know the standard thing with that, you get a search on that. Then Torrential and Trap Death Shoot. The trap lineup is kind of minimal. I try to make it chainable, so that's why we're not running Mirror Force or Solemn. I don't really like Solemn Judgment this format unless you're just playing like a control monster type deck. You know, this deck provides control in terms of disruption, but it doesn't provide control in terms of, you know, a boss monster, say like a Xian or spamming Stardust or something like that. That's where I would run Solemn Judgment, or even in the anti-meta type deck. Then of course we have Trap Death Shoot, knowing your opponent's answers, future answers, to key this format. Extra deck, I did not make an optimal extra deck because we're trying to keep this on a budget. So I just wanted to provide some examples of inexpensive synchro options that are available to us. First we have Vortex to Whirlwind. It can be made with the Veiler and a Sacred Crane. When Vortex dies by battle, you can special summon a level 4 or lower. So you can get another Crane, draw a card, get your Gale out, get your TG Jet Falcon out or whatever, and do shenanigans with that. Magical Android, of course. Dark End Dragon, Summoner Monk plus Goldfax plus Mystic Tomato, etc., etc. TG Striker plus Chaos Sorcerer gives you Dark End. These guys are all super dirt cheap. I mean, promo, this is a rare, this is a promo. Armor Match has been reprinted as a super. This guy is cheap. This has been reprinted as a rare. Of course, you guys know this is a rare. I don't own a lower rarity of Stardust Dragon, but this is a rare now. And of course, like I said, our XYZ monsters: Zen Master, Utopia, Leviathan, Grinosaurus, and then others if you have access to them, if you can afford them. Okay, let me know what you think about the Crane Control build. Like I said, you can easily replace lots of the cards. If you have a Zephyros, you can possibly dump the TG engine and replace it with 1 or 2 Armageddon Knights and a Plague Spreader and a Zephyros. So I would drop these 2 for 2 Armageddon Knights. I would drop that for Zephyros. This would be an additional Mystic Tomato, and then that could be a DD Crow, and that would, you know, considerably beef up the deck. If instead of DD Crow, you can make that, matter of fact, instead of a DD Crow, that would be better served as a Plague Spreader. So you'd have more combos to go off of your Armageddon Knights. So you get your Mystic Tomato, it gets killed, Armageddon Knight dumps, Plague Spreader or Zephyros dodging your opponent's Veiler since it's during the battle phase. Then you can combo out from there. Alright guys, video's running kind of long, so I'll wrap it up here. It's DUBKDAD presenting the Crane Control once again, and I'm out.